Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this lovely second day of National Nursing Week. We will give a few seconds just so everybody can join. We find the virtual world needs a few seconds to allow us to join virtually and our audio settings. So just in a few seconds, we'll get started. We're very happy to be here with all of you today and very excited to hear from our very own Norma Tomlin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, friends, board members, colleagues, fellow case managers and care staff, welcome here today with us celebrating Day 2 of National Nursing Week 2024, Changing Lives, Shaping Tomorrow. A special welcome to our program manager, Rola Al-Mubader, our executive director, Ruth Lee, and our respectful speaker, Norma Tomlin. My name is Bessie Nasiopoulos, and I'm privileged to be here with all of you today as an internationally educated nurse myself, case manager, and professional development lead at Care Center. And I would like to let you know how proud and honored we are here at Care Center, celebrating National Nursing Week with all of you. Before we get started, we would like to take a minute to acknowledge the land we are meeting from today. The land we are standing on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinabeg, the Chepway, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chepway bands. We are all treaty people. Many of us have come here as settlers, immigrants, newcomers in this generation or generations past. We also acknowledge those of us who came here involuntarily as part of the transatlantic slave trade and honor and pay tribute to the ancestors of African origin and descent. We are mindful of broken covenants, and we strive to make this right with the land and with each other. Now we will request our distinguished program manager, Rola Al-Mubader, to welcome you all. Rola is the program manager of Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. Rola brings 25 years of broad range experience in healthcare quality, clinical informatics, and nursing education. Rola has held several positions as a professional education development consultant, professor assistant, facilitator, and quality consultant in Canada and internationally. Rola is committed to supporting nurses nationally and internationally through mentoring, influencing policy, and improving the quality of healthcare services, ensuring nurses are practicing in a safe, diverse, equitable, inclusive, and people-centered environment. Recently, Rola co-authored a book with over 300 other authors about mentorship in nursing. The chapter book, titled Integration of Internationally Educated Nurses, Journey Through Globalization, Internationalization, Technology, and Mentoring, focused on the successful transition of IENs to the Canadian workplace through mentorship. She is recognized for being a passionate and inspirational nursing leader, dedicated to serve the nursing profession, and we are extremely lucky and privileged to have her here at Care Center, leading and guiding our work, supporting internationally educated nurses, changing lives, and shaping tomorrow. Rola, the floor is yours.
It's very touching to hear this from you, Bessie, and thank you so much for this heartwarming introduction. And I look at the screen in front of me and I see inspirational leaders here, including you, Bessie, and Dr. Ruth Lee, and our distinguished guest speaker, Norma Tomlin, who actually, I would keep this for later, maybe to speak more and more about it, who've been actually impacting and influenced my journey back as an IEN, who actually joined Care Center back in 2010. So it's a special day for all of us, not because this week only is the Nursing Week, because as well of this theme that it's carrying, which is actually changing lives. Nurses and anyone who is affiliated to nursing, because I look at my Care Center team, who are a diverse team, who are nurses and non-nurses, with all those who are supporting nurses and IENs, globally and nationally. It's the week to celebrate. It's the day to celebrate today, because yes, we are shaping the future. Nurses are the leaders of the healthcare system, with the support of all interprofessional team, but they are at the core and the center, because they are always in direct contact with their patients, and they always support families, communities, and societies all over the world. So that's given me a great great honor to be here today, and I'm so humbled by all the people who are joining us today and joining the celebration. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time in your day to be part of this event and every day's event that we're going on till the end of this week. So please don't miss. Try to find the time in your schedule, which I know it's a busy calendars for everyone, but we're happy to have you joining us. Before moving to our next item for today's event, I would actually would like to express my gratitude. So I'm so grateful to work with a talented and dedicated team at Care Center, from case managers to admin staff, to everyone who is actually working tirelessly every day to support IENs. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And I can't thank you enough for your hard work, for your commitment, and for your dedication. So for those who are on this call, from the team members of Care Center, please just give us a wave, and Bessie would like you to introduce yourself and to give us a little bit about the great work that you do at Care Center. Thank you.
So team, I am allowing you to join as panelists and share a little bit of the intro as Rola mentioned. Please let me know if I'm missing anybody. You can raise your virtual hand or wave as Rola mentioned. And we will add you to the board here.
I think our Ruth, our own Ruth Woodjock, our wise lady, is ready to speak. Maybe we start with the wise. We have Ruth Leader here, Ruth Lee, and we have Ruth Wise, who's my mentor, I would say. And I actually kind of every day I reach out if I need any help and support from her wisdom, to take some of the words of wisdom. Also some phrases that I'm learning still day in.
Now, I'm assuming you can hear me. Is that right? Okay. Well, I just want to congratulate everybody in the care team for putting together such an inspirational and diverse program for this week. It is indeed wonderful to celebrate. And I was particularly taken by Dr. Kareem Valji's presentation on Monday, which was inspirational. As she said, we're constantly we're thinking that the sky is falling, but she reminds us that it isn't, that things are looking up and things are looking forward. And so I think that's exciting. And I'm glad that that's the focus of this week, is to really look forward and to see the exciting future that we have. What can I say about the wonderful team I work with at CARE? I enjoy every day working with them, and we miss you. We miss you, Norma. Norma was a wonderful member of our team, and Norma and I got to know each other quite well when she was at CARE. But we're so proud of you and what you've accomplished, that we couldn't be more pleased. So it's great to have you here, Norma. And thanks everybody for the chance to say a few dozen words.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom again. And yes, we missed Norma with us at Care Center, but we always kind of collaborate and work in partnership collectively to support IENs. The floor is yours. Go ahead, Lourdes.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Nurses Week. I always say it's a Nurses Week because it's our week. And I'm so happy that this week is packed with full of great webinars. And we have all these amazing leaders speaking to us today and throughout the week. And I'm so happy to see Norma. Every time I see her, like it just brings back the memories of like when we were working together at Care Center. And she's an amazing individual that you can see, like, you know, how she worked through her education. And I know in the past that we were talking about, like, you know, how hard it is to pursue it, but look at her now, and she really did it. And she's an inspiration to a lot of us. And again, thank you for being with us, Norma, and still are one of our IEN champions. And you never stop. You're always there for us and supporting our IENs. And to all the staff at CARE, again, Happy Nurses Week. I want to include myself, we are doing a great job in supporting our IENs. And thank you for the team management for supporting all our IENs, our staff, and moving and supporting our IENs to a next level. And we can reach out to a lot of them with the things that we do. And again, it's amazing that I am part of this team, and thank you. And again, happy Nurses Week. And I hope everybody will be able to join the additional different webinars that we have for the next few days. It's all amazing. Especially, we're going to be promoting our first mentorship excellence award, and we're so excited about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lourdes. And Lourdes, she's our mentoring team lead, and she does an amazing job every day to encourage IENs to be part of this program, which I'm passionate. I'm a nurse educator by profession. So every time anyone would ask me, I would say, the key to success is to be mentored. In any role you are in, you need a mentor, you need a counselor. So what about being in a clinical setting on OJS, observational job shadowing? And I don't want to take the spotlight, because we're going to talk about this on Friday. So do not miss this session on Friday. Be there and let Lourdes speak to this. And also during the pandemic, we had our virtual mentoring, and let's have the story all told by told by Lourdes on Friday. So I had Tamshila here as well. Tamshila, go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tamshila. I'm one of the case managers at Appeal Center, Appeal Region for Care Center. I just wanted to quickly come in and say Happy Nurses Week to everyone. This week is always so exciting because we have so many webinars that we have throughout the week. And it's always nice to hear our leaders. They like kind of reignite that passion and that excitement in all of us nurses. And it's exciting. We're always happy to support each other. So I'm also an internationally educated nurse, and Norma was also my case manager. So I always get really excited when I see her, because now I'm a case manager and I love giving back to my fellow IENs and supporting nurses everywhere. But yes, congrats to us. We're awesome. Let's keep going. Let's work hard and, do our part with the healthcare system here in Canada. Happy Nurses Week, everyone.
Thank you, Tamshila. And Tamshila, she's as well a great facilitator. She's been facilitating the RN CAP, which is a success always. And we have 99% to 100% of success of our clients who participate in the RN CAP for the Touchstone OSCE. So again, congratulations, Tamshila, to all the great work that you've been doing. And thank you. I have Ruthie. Please go ahead.
Congratulations, everybody. Happy Nursing Week. And I'm the other Ruth at the Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. And many of you have met Ruth, the winner. And I just want to say how grateful I am for all the support that I have received from the team, the multi-talented team that the center is so fortunate to have, and many, many friends and families like Norma. Norma left Care Center formally a few years ago, but she's always in our heart, and she always gives back, and her heart is with the IEN. Care Center is a very diverse organization representing different language, cultural groups, and opinion. So I dare to differ from Lourdes and Tamshila. I know it's nurses week is mainly for nurses, but I also want to know everyone to know that the reason why we call it Nursing Week in Canada is because we value all the supporters of nurses. I can tell you, Care Center is so diverse. We have language specialists, we have settlement workers, and we have educators, and we have our mean support people. Folks committed to nursing. Those folks love nurses, particularly at Care, love internationally educated nurses. So it takes a village. And this is what nursing is all about. We need everyone. We work in an interprofessional environment that we need to work well with everyone, because together we are stronger. So I'm so forever grateful for all the commitment that all of you who are in the journey of pursuing your registration and employment and excel in your career. And Care Center, I'm the servant of the team. I can tell you that, because it's very easy. My job's very easy because I'm just that servant, the cheerleader. The team have great ideas. I'm there to support them. And we hope that you will do the same. We are here to serve you because your success is our success. We want you to let us know what will make it work for you. because last count, we have over 100 countries represented at the Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. We're extremely humbled by your knowledge and your wisdom and your skill. And please work with us, walk with us. We're here to help you understand the healthcare system, and we also share your thoughts and your experience with your employers as well. As Ruth Wojcik, our winner, so much in the workplace integration program, we basically become that bridge for all of you. It's a two-way bridge, not one way, because we know that we need to cultivate the environment for you, the very tough seat of the world that come to Canada that we're so fortunate to have to start to set root and bloom in this wonderful country. And as Canadians, we all live up to the Charter of Rights and Freedom. And so let's work together. Let's celebrate Nursing Week. You have accomplished a lot. For those of you who may be feeling that you're struggling, we're here with you. Okay, you are not alone. We're working with you. So thank you so much for celebrating with us. I'd like to have a gentle reminder that we have 3 more days of formal celebration, including tomorrow with the president of RNAO, and also Thursday, a very special day. It will be on site and also virtual. And then for those of you interested, I know that many of IEN colleagues are interested in hands-on things and high tech. I can tell you that will be something very special for you, because you get to see how home care can be just that. Anyway, I know it's scary for Ruth Lee to start talking, because my team know that I can talk till the cows go home, and then we have very limited time. But again, my happy appreciation for all your support to Care Center, and we're here all working together with you. Have a great week.
Thank you so much, Ruth Lee. And I have to say something. So Ruth Lee's motto is win, 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 win. So win for everyone, win for the IENs, win for the Canadian healthcare system, win for the employers, and win for our team, because this is, as we said, like your success as IENs is our success, and also the success of the healthcare system in retaining the IENs and advancing their career to contribute to the Canadian healthcare system. That's the success. That's the bigger win. So I think, Bessie, you have we have seen on the chat one comment, I think, from Megan, that I would like to actually to Norma. So it's wonderful to see you, Norma. This is from Megan. Thank you for facilitating this great session today. So that's from Megan.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna actually move forward with the next actually item for today's event. It's running the video recordings. Unfortunately, which we always we know Dr. Lee Chapman will be happy to be here with us, but it's a busy week for everyone and for other commitments. She actually had a special video recording for us today to run it. From Dr. Lee Chapman, the Chief Nursing Officer of Canada. And Dr. Lee Chapman is committed to advancing the nursing profession in Canada to ensure equitable access to quality care. As the Chief Nurse Officer for Canada, she provides strategic advice to Health Canada, plays a convening role on key nursing issues, and represents the federal government at public forums. And I leave actually the recording from Dr. Lee Chapman to speak to you about the great achievements that she did. And also, before moving to the video, also we actually got fortunate to have another recording from our as well colleague, Tim Gast, from the Canadian Nurse Association. He is the CEO of the CNA, and also he had actually worked on a lot of policies and reformation to ensure that nurses in Canada and those who are choosing to come to Canada as well participate as members in this Canadian Nurse Association and benefit from all those resources available to all nurses. So I leave the recordings for you to enjoy, and we'll move to our next steps. Thank you.
Every day, Canada's nurses provide essential and compassionate care to us and our loved ones in our toughest moments. During National Nursing Week, let's come together to celebrate nurses, acknowledge their skills and competencies, and thank them for their invaluable contributions to our health and well-being. The theme of this year's National Nursing Week is Changing Lives, Shaping Tomorrow. While nurses help save and change lives every day, they also have an influence in shaping our health system for the future. As Chief Nursing Officer, I've had the privilege of meeting nurses in every province and territory in Canada. They need to know that we support them and their well-being for the future. That is why I worked with our nursing community to develop a retention toolkit created by and for nurses. The toolkit is a resource for employers aimed at enhancing nurses' current working conditions. I am proud to be part of the Government of Canada's efforts committed to strengthening Canada's healthcare system and support nurses and other health professionals who keep it running every day. I know how hard nurses work to provide care for their patients, families, and communities. On behalf of the Government of Canada, thank you, nurses, and happy Nursing Week.
We can actually run the video from Tim Guest, the CEO from the CNA.
Hello, I am Tim Guest. I am a registered nurse, and I'm the CEO of the Canadian Nurses Association. I'm pleased to be able to speak to you today to wish you all a happy National Nursing Week. I'm speaking to you from Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And I make this acknowledgement with the recognition that it must come with real action towards real change that honors Indigenous peoples past and present, their culture, their language, and their traditional healing practices. CNA itself is on a journey to reconciliation through the efforts of our Reconciliation Plan that is currently in development. CNA is Canada's national nursing professional organization, leading the development of healthy public policy across Canada. We speak on behalf of Canada's 466,000 regulated nurses, as well as nursing students and retired nurses across all 13 provinces and territories. And we are the voice nationally representing the nursing profession as a whole across sectors and across all domains of practice, and have been since 1908. As the national voice of nursing in Canada, we act in the public interest for Canadian nursing and nurses, providing national and international leadership in nursing and health. We advocate for a publicly funded not-for-profit health system. We advance nursing excellence and positive health outcomes, and we promote profession-led regulation. Nursing is too important, too valuable, and too expansive to be left like a rudderless ship with no one at the wheel. CNA helps steer and develop the discipline of nursing for all nurses. We are a leader in health policy, and we are consistently ranked in the top tier of health lobbyists in Ottawa. We develop, share, and mobilize evidence to inform better health and healthcare policy development that benefits individuals, communities, organizations, and systems. We aim to be the federal government's go-to source for informed nursing and healthcare policy advice. We are the only pan-Canadian association that has the mandate to monitor, guard, and advance the nursing profession as a whole. We lead initiatives that bring nurses, other healthcare professionals, employers, and governments together to discuss challenges and develop innovative solutions. This National Nursing Week, we will celebrate Indigenous Nurses Day on May the 6th and International Nurses Day on May the 12th. Our theme this year is Changing Lives, Shaping Tomorrow. The theme recognizes the contributions of the tremendous impact that nurses have on individuals, communities, and the future of healthcare. To me, the theme recognizes the professionalism, knowledge, skills, and dedication each and every one of us contributes in the impact we have on the health of our nation and the healthcare system itself. Nurses play a crucial role in directly impacting the lives of patients. Through their care, compassion, and expertise, they contribute to positive changes in the health and well-being of individuals. Nurses also advocate for their patients, ensuring they receive the best possible care and support. This advocacy can bring about transformative changes in people's lives. Nurses are at the forefront of healthcare innovation, contributing to advancements in treatments, technologies, and patient care practices. Their commitment to learning and adapting helps shape the future of healthcare. Canada is a country that has a rich history, from the Indigenous communities that have made this land home for thousands of years to the people from many countries around the world that have come to make Canada home. We believe nurses have the right to choose where they live and practice. I hope you are finding Canada to be a welcoming place to be, and I hope you are feeling welcomed as internationally educated nursing professionals. I hope you will consider membership in CNA and adding your valuable perspectives to our national association. And you can check out our website at www.cna-aiic. I wish you well in your career here in Canada. Happy National Nursing Week.
Thank you so much for both inspirational and leaders, and they are actually kind of leading and shaping the future of nurses. I will actually now, with great honor and great pleasure, welcome and ask you to join in welcoming our distinguished and respected guest speaker, Norma Tomlin, the Director of Professional Practice at WeRPN. With over 3 decades of experience as a proud RPN, Norma previously held various roles in leadership and at the point of care across healthcare system. One of her many roles, and you must already have heard this from many of us, Norma was a case manager at Care Center, and today it is an honor and pleasure for me to be introducing Norma, not only because she is an inspirational leader for all of us and a colleague, but also because she was my case manager at Care Center and actually part of my journey and where I achieved today. So she inspired me through the toughest times and helped me to regain my self-confidence. And that's all case managers at Care Center are passionate about every day to do. After failing the RN exam, at that time was the CRNE, and the moment I walked into Care Center back in 2010, facing my second exam attempt, and I met Norma, it was with her guidance and words of encouragement that I was able to put a study plan together, pass the exam, become registered, and get my first job opportunity as a facilitator at Care Center for IENs. So thank you, Norma Tomlin. Thank you, Care Center. Thank you, my colleagues at Care Center, and thank you for the leaders in Canada and the leaders at Care Center. Norma is a certified resilience practitioner in health services management from Toronto Metropolitan University, previously Ryerson. Recently, and I think Lourdes, she already mentioned this, she has completed graduate studies at TMU with a master's in health administration and community care. Throughout her career, she has focused on supporting nurses' professional development and is inspired by their contributions to the healthcare system. In her current role at WeRPN, Norma leads the practice team to develop practice resources for both RPNs and other healthcare professionals, ensuring positive impact that enhances the lives of patients they serve. And that's how we're shaping the future. Thank you again, and the mic is all yours. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I don't want to keep on, I can keep on going on and on, but again, thank you. So let's hear from Norma.
Well, I can't even express how wonderful it is just to even be here. Happy Nurses Week to everybody. And the sentiments that I've heard of my work at the Care Center, and I've said this many times before, it's a program that leverages success in nurses to impact the lives of their patients, but how it impacts their own lives is really the rich part of care. And so proud to have been part of that program for about 8 years, as a matter of fact. And I'm just delighted to be here today to wish everybody Happy Nurses Week, to talk to you a little bit about WeRPN, a little bit about the supports that WeRPN provides to nurses as they transition into practice, and a little bit about my own journey, because it isn't a straight line, that is for sure. And so happy to share some of that with you. I'll just also bring greetings from the board of directors at WeRPN, our full team. We are so grateful for the 60,000 RPNs and nurses all across the province this nursing week. Your expertise, your experience, your compassion, keeping our communities healthy and safe despite many challenges that you're faced every day. Your care makes a difference, and your care makes a difference to your patients, to the families, and to the healthcare system. And we are so proud to advocate, stand alongside you, and support you. The Registered Practical Nurses Association of Ontario thanks all the nurses for making a healthier province a stronger profession. And together we continue to champion and to improve healthcare systems and inspire change. I'm going to share, I have some slides that I'm going to somewhat talk to. I'm not going to really stay on script. I'm not a script person, but I'm going to try stick to a few talking points, and my slides may help me do that. So if it's fine, I'm going to go ahead and share my slide deck. And if everybody, thank you. So again, Happy Nurses Week. I'm more than proud to be here to celebrate with the Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses, and to talk a little bit about the supports that WeRPN, the Registered Practical Nurses Association of Ontario, brings to help support nurses coming into practice and transitioning into their profession. I'm going to talk a little bit about PLP, why it's important for all nurses, regardless of your title, and the value that that brings to your practice, and the security that that brings to you as you're out there day to day, providing the very best care that you can to patients. Again, talk a little bit about career directions, being professionally engaged, and really how that intertwined with my own professional journey into nursing leadership. So it's really interesting that this nursing week, the theme is changing lives and shaping tomorrow, because our recent strategic plan, which is just about done, we're about to announce our new strategic plan for the association, really speaks to some of that. And what draws me to our strategic plan is that the premise of it is to break the walls down, build the person up, and bring people together. I think that our association does a really great job of that. I know CARE's program does a really great job of that. And the removing of barriers that have been seen over decades for IENs. The Care Center has done a tremendous job of advocacy there. We take on that role after you're out in practice, advocating for you at the point of care, supporting you, breaking some of the barriers down with scope of practice changes that we've advocated for at government and with the college, and just really helping to optimize all the nursing knowledge that we have in this province. I heard Ruth Lee say today, we all need to work together, and we are stronger together. And there's no doubt in my mind that that is the future of nursing, is working hard together. Our practice resources at WeRPN, we have a number of practice resources, and they're open to everybody, regardless of your title, RN or RPN. We've developed some really great toolkits, if you will, on workplace violence, de-escalation. We have our career directions modules and supports, our self-care, which I can't emphasize enough. The self-care toolkit is just a beautiful toolkit to help you walk through your own resilience and plan to build your own stamina so that you can have a long-lasting career in nursing. It's been a hard number of years for nurses. We know that. We knew that before the pandemic. Anecdotally, back in 2016, we heard from nurses saying that they were feeling burnt out. That was before the pandemic. And so we had developed self-care resources back in 2016. They have expanded as a result of so many obvious reasons over the last number of years. And so it's a really rich resource that I recommend you look at. All of these resources are free, available on our public website, and they're there to support you. So I really do encourage you to look at the website. Again, regardless if you're a PSW, you're an RPN, or you're an RN, these resources really are there to help impact the day-to-day practice of those who care for our patients here in Ontario. We do have some leadership development, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about leadership development and pathways to leadership. And we know that RPNs particularly play a really interesting role in the healthcare system that is so valued. First of all, there's 60,000 RPNs in this province. WeRPN is the second largest association in the province for nurses, and RPNs are the second largest regulated healthcare professionals in this province. So we play a role. We play a very large role, and RPNs work in every spectrum of care, aside from critical care, obviously in acute care or critical care in ICU centers, trauma centers, but every other aspect that the healthcare system has to deliver care, you're going to see an RPN. RPNs touch patients every day. 95% of RPNs lay hands on patients. So it is just that important that we continue to help support, develop, and optimizing the leadership within the RPN role. And so we have a number of different leadership e-learning programs that are available on our website. They're available to everybody, members or non-members. Members, of course, get a little bit of a discount on our courses, but we do keep them very reasonable. I don't think we've raised the cost of any of our courses in about 10 years. So we keep them very economically affordable and accessible to nurses all over the province. Our Leadership 1 really is that whole introduction to leadership and talking about what is a leader and exploring your own knowledge and depth in leadership. And Leadership 2 is influence and change in policy. And we know nurses play a really important role because we're the eyes of the healthcare system. We see what's happening. So our role to advocate influence policy has never been more important. And so Leadership 2 kind of helps hone in on some of those skills and deepen the knowledge of the nurse that's acquiring that course. We have Leadership 3, which is, again, champion patient-centered care. It's a beautiful program. It really does have some amazing activities and case studies through the program that the learner gets to experience, and highly recommend the course. It's just a lovely program. And I think that when you're coming into the province and coming into Canada, some of these courses can integrate into your professional practice and provide you with more tools in your own toolkit as you go out and support patients, because nursing is the skills are, we know IENs have the skills. My work with care has proven to me IENs have amazing skill set, amazing. But adding to your toolkit as you transition into care around some of these other aspects of professional practice are really going to help with your success and give you confidence as you go forward to care for your patients. Leadership 3 is really optimizing the role of RPNs. This is, to me, one of the most important courses. And I think the reason for this is because not every jurisdiction across the world has different categories of nursing. It's generally in some jurisdictions, RNs, and that's it, one title. So what does that RPN role look like? And I know in my practice when I was working with care, this was something that many RPNs would come in, or many care clients, nurses would come in and say, I got eligibility for RPN. What does that mean for me? I don't understand. I didn't get eligibility for RN. And what does that pathway look like? So I'll share a little bit about my pathway as an RPN. But it's a valuable part of our healthcare system, as you've already heard me say. The title of RPN and RN are equally important and equally valuable to nursing and to the profession of nursing. And they both play a really pivotal role. And I think that that's an important message I want to give to anybody who's working towards their RPN registration, that this can be a stepping stone. Absolutely. And you can leverage that and advance and continue without a doubt. And we want you to do that if that's what you want to do. Absolutely. However, if you want to remain an RPN and you want to grow as an RPN, that is a great possibility for a career as well. And it's very rich in itself. So leadership for optimizing that RPN scope is really, really a great program. And I think it's great for leaders as well. We conducted a study a number of years ago. It's our synergy report that's on our website. And we learned that 50% of even clinical educators had misinformation about the roles. So there's, even within our own context of nursing, we see that there's work to be done to really unpack what does that role embody and how do we optimize it. And then, of course, through COVID, we developed an IPAC, an introduction to IPAC, infection prevention and control, for all healthcare providers. It's a great introductory course, and I do recommend that particular course. And then, of course, we have our research course. And if you have any keen interest in research, and you want to learn more about research, I highly recommend this course. It's a great introduction to help really decide if that's the direction you want to go in, but to learn more about validated research and how it brings credibility to the Ontario healthcare system. So that's a little bit about our resources. One of the resources that I mentioned I would talk about is protecting your title. As an IEN, you've come on a journey to Canada. You've walked a really integral role of all kinds of, I'll say, hoops to some degree that you have to go through to get to that title. Once you obtain your license, protect your license. Whether you're an RN, whether you're an RPN, get insurance, get professional liability insurance. The professional liability insurance that you're afforded with WeRPN protects your title as a registered practical nurse should you have an allegation of misconduct that goes to the College of Nurses. And nobody goes to work through their day and expects this to happen. And we all go to work as nurses hoping to provide the very best care that we can to our patients. And but you just, sometimes you could be working with a nurse who's made a mistake and you're called out as well. You can be subpoenaed to court for a situation that could happen in the workplace. A lot of nurses feel that their employer will help them through those times, and that might be possible. But if it's your employer who's calling you out on these allegations, then you're really left standing on your own to defend yourself with the College of Nurses. Don't put yourself in that position. I'm not trying to sell insurance. I'm trying to sell safety and protection for your license. You've worked really hard for it. And I will tell you that the average claim at the College of Nurses that our insurance provider is seeing is upwards to $10,000. Don't find yourself in that situation. Make sure that you protect your license. So if you are an RPN, the best way to do that, of course, is to join your professional association. Your coverage is automatic. And if you're an RN, join your professional association and make sure you have the LAP insurance with your membership to RNAO so that you have that protection. It is so important for your title. You've worked hard for that title. Protect it. So I'll leave that with you to go to our website and investigate further and reach out to us, of course, if you have further questions on that. Some of the other benefits that we help with members, our practical nurses, of course, is the insurance. And some of the things that I've already talked about, the career development tools. Yesterday, we held a whole coaching session for RPNs all day long who came in and out, and career coaching from our professional practice team. Our members get that on an ongoing basis. If you're a member of the association, you are afforded some career coaching by a wonderful professional practice team that can really help you navigate your career. And that includes the career counseling as well and resume support. mentorship program. I heard this morning, and I wholeheartedly agree that mentorship is key. It is, in my opinion, part of my recipe that I will talk about on my own journey, but it is key to really helping to support you and help you navigate as you're walking into practice and getting back to practice here in Ontario. Our professional practice supports our members don't always realize this, but they have the opportunity that if they get a practice issue, they can pick up the phone and call us. They can email us. They can come in and visit us. We're there to support them very much so. As carers supporting you in your transition back to practice, RPNs in the province have WeRPN to support them as they're out in practice. And of course, there's all kinds of other savings. We have discounts on retailers and et cetera that you can see on our website, discounts on our e-learning and our annual general meeting. Every year we have an annual general meeting with education components. This year's hybrid in person and online. And I encourage you to look at our website. The date for that is October 24th. So I'm putting a plug in for the date, but certainly get engaged, get professionally engaged. And that's sort of really part of what I'm going to talk about in my own journey here, and how being professionally engaged really, for me, was a lot of the ingredient. But I will tell you a little bit about me. I don't know how many of you are aware, those that you know me might, but I was born in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And it's a little island there. You see the arrow here. It's a small little island off the coast of Nova Scotia. I was born to a father who was a laborer, a mother who worked mostly survival jobs, 4 children, and it was a wonderful, loving home with a lot of hardship. I'll just let you know that. And it pales in comparison to the IEN journey. Absolutely pales in comparison. I know my place of privilege. I speak English. I was born here. I always say I had the birth lottery, but I was born in a really interesting time in an interesting place. As a young child, as I started school, it was identified I had a learning disability. It's something I don't speak about very much, but I feel that now that I'm where I'm at, I do need to speak about this learning disability. I was identified as having dyslexia. I was told I was never going to be that smart in school, and that I would struggle in school and in my school life. Now, there's a word out east. Anybody from out east will know this word, and it's called grit. And we use that word quite a bit in the East Coast. The word grit is to have determination and courage to push through any challenges or obstacles thrown your way until you succeed. This word lives with me. It really lives with me. It embodies what I feel I've had to endure as a nurse. And most IENs, I don't have to tell you about this word. You may not know the word, but you all have it. And this grit that's in you, the strong desire to succeed, is what just keeps you going. And certainly those challenges that are in front of you and the obstacles that are in front of you, you have to push hard. You have to have grit. Now, grit from the East Coast term, it's actually the dirt in the East Coast. They call it the grit. But it means that you're willing to get down to the dirt and go through the struggles and have that grit to push through. So I thought I'd share that word with you today, because as I was thinking about what do I want to share with IENs, and this is, again, nothing that you don't already have and don't already know. Now, there's a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, Angela Duckworth. I strongly recommend that you listen to her TED Talk on grit. She's done a lot of studies around it and how it is the passion and perseverance for the long-term goals. And Duckworthy has, again, this video TED Talk has been seen 13 million times, and I strongly recommend you see it. But she talks about how IQ and social intelligence and even physical health is not the contributor to long-term success, but it was grit. And I found that really interesting. I found that fascinating that she felt that it's this ability to have the stamina to continue on. Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out. Sticking with your future day in and day out. So there's 4 pillars of grit that she has identified. And the 4 pillars of grit are interest, practice, purpose, and hope. And so as I started through deciding what I wanted to do with my life, I knew that I wanted to help people. To go further on into my story, my dad, who again I said was a laborer, sadly, and he's fine today, but had a stroke at a very young age, 43. He was a workaholic, and he supported 4 kids. And as I said, my mother was at working survival jobs. So I identified the fact that grit had to kick in again really quickly. As a school-age child, I knew I had to work harder than everybody else. Yeah, I did not get A's. I didn't get B's sometimes because of my learning disability, but I worked hard. I worked as hard as I could at whatever I could work hard at. I had some interesting people along the way, teachers and educators that came to me and said, you could do this. And I'll never forget one particular, she wasn't a teacher, she was a librarian. She sat down with me. She could see I was struggling. And she said to me, Norma, read everything you can. I was in grade 5. I'll never forget it. Read everything you can. Pick up every book. I don't care what you read, just read. This will work itself out. Keep growing your knowledge. So I did that. I listened to her, Miss Stanley. I'll never forget her name. And she was a wonderful direction, a guide for me. So watch in your pathway for those guides, because I was really lucky I had some wonderful guides. But just to, again, move along, my home life situation was deteriorating with a sick parent. Things were getting tough, and the grit had to kick in. And when my father took sick, I spent a lot of time at the hospital with my mom, and I realized how comfortable I felt around the environment, around watching people be supported, how it inspired me watching the nurses. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. By that time, I was in about grade 11 or 12, and I sat down with my guidance counselor, and he looked at my grades, and he looked at what I had been taking, and he said, you can't do nursing. You don't have X, Y, Z. And I thought, oh, but watch me. I'm going to go back and take X, Y, Z. I'll just stay in school longer. And that is exactly what I did. I thought, that's not going to stop me. This is what I wanted to do. And it was that interest right there, that interest of, I found it, and I practiced. I practiced at being a good student. I worked hard, and I applied to school. And at that time, very similar to now, you get into a pre-health program. I got into what was called a healthcare aid program at Humber College. And I was a little disappointed. I thought, no, I wanted to get into the nursing program, but I had to take that extra step, and I had to go the long way. Like I said, it didn't go straight for me. So I did the healthcare aid program. I loved it. I worked in long-term care. I worked with patients. I found purpose. That one pillar again of purpose that just kept pushing me. And I really felt like with Duckworthy, the psychologist, has said that having hope. And I had the hope, and hope, in her context, is about blind optimism. Instead, so hope isn't not about blind optimism. Instead, it is about the belief that effort can improve the future. And that was what I had. I believed that my effort would improve the future. And if you're sitting today thinking, what does it look like? If you have hope and you put that effort in and you believe it can change your future, I believe it can too. I truly believe it can. So I got through that program. I got into the RNA program back in 1991. That's how old I am. And after that, within that year, I graduated from my RPN or RNA, but within that year, the professional association was lobbying the government to identify and optimize this area of nursing to be autonomous for their own practice and to work underneath their own regulation. So at that time, we worked under the regulation of an RN when I graduated. But within 8 months of my graduation, the legislation changed, as did my title. My title then was RPN, and I was grandfathered in as a registered practical nurse in Ontario. And ironically, the association that lobbied the government for that is the association I now work for, WeRPN. So it's very interesting. I feel like I've gone full circle to some degree in my own career. Along the way, I had different jobs. I worked any job I could work. When you got out in the early 90s, you took whatever job you could get. Anybody who worked in that time knew that nursing jobs were not easy to come by. I worked in rehab for 5.5 years, working at the point of patient care, providing educational supports to patients and helping them in their recovery. I worked in visiting nursing. I worked as a supervisor. I helped support PSWs in the community. I then had an experience where I had a personal experience where I was supporting an aging parent at home and really helping to navigate and coordinate care for an individual to stay at home and honor their wishes to stay at home. And that brought me into the health service provider sector, where I lasted quite some time in that area. And had my family life and started that journey of my life. And then I came upon a posting while I was coming back from a maternity leave for the Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. And can I tell you, I got so excited when I saw this posting. I thought, wow, this is a program that I think I could do something with. The description of what they were looking for somebody who understood the healthcare system, somebody who case managed, which in fact I did in the community, somebody who embodied the knowledge of legislation and regulation, which I had that. And in the job posting, I will let you know, it said RN preferred, but RPN as well. So at that time I thought, oh, what the heck? What do I have to lose? I sent my resume in. And I was nervous. I didn't think that they would even look at my resume. I didn't have a lot of credentialing at that time, and I was a bit stagnant in my learning. I had young children at the time, so I was really in a place where I really wanted to do something, but I was looking for that door that would open in my own career. I went in for the interview, had a wonderful interview with a previous executive director that was with the Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses, Gail Yardley, and interviewed with her, the program manager at that time, and then left the interview. They told me they would get back to me. And I thought, this was really lovely, but I don't know how I measured up to everybody else. But I put myself out there and I thought, why not? A few days later, I kept checking my voicemail. You've all been in that position where you're checking your voicemail, you're checking your email. Did they call you? What's the outcome? I'd seen nothing. I thought, oh, okay, this wasn't for me. And I didn't measure up. But a few days later, I was going through my junk email, and I usually just would go through my junk email and delete everything. This day, I thought, I better check that junk mail. It's piling up. I opened it up, and I had a second invite for an interview with the Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. And I thought, oh my goodness, I got all the butterflies, I got all the nerves going on. Nevertheless, I went in for the second interview, and I was offered the position as an RPN working as a case manager for the Care Center for Internationally Educated Nurses. And I was over the moon, absolutely over the moon, to be able to provide the services program offers to IENs. And it's so rich. It's just such a beautiful program that again, it lifts people up, it leverages people into the healthcare system where we need them the most, but it impacts their lives. So much like our theme for this Nursing Week. I worked at CARE for 8 years, and I must have counseled anywhere from, 500 plus IENs. And it really did enrich me as a nurse to come in to work every day and to watch the perseverance of the IEN, to watch them have purpose, to watch their hope, to watch that they had the interest to get back to practice, and they were practicing and going back to school and taking the courses, following their care plans. And I watched this for quite some time, and I kept thinking, wow, this is inspiring. This is really over the moon inspiring. Every day I went into work, I was inspired. I got more out of the IEN, in my view, than they ever got out of me. Nevertheless, I did leave care, and it was an interesting transition for me, because I knew I wanted to do more at the highest level I could for nursing. And it was at the CARE conference where I met the Professional Provincial Association for RPNs, at that time RPNAO, WeRPN, and had a very quick conversation with them. And then off I went, and I thought about it long and hard. And I remember calling my spouse and saying to him, I think I belong at the Provincial Nursing Association for RPNs. I threw it out to the universe. I said it out loud, and then that was it. And months and months went on, and I would say about 9-10 months later, there was a posting at the association. Very rarely is there a posting in professional practice at the provincial association. I will let you know that the person that was leaving was retiring. So I applied. I was very nervous, but very eager to see how I measured up again. And I went in, presented to the CEO as well as to our senior director. And a few days later, they offered me the position. And I had to make a really difficult decision to leave care and then to take on this role at WeRPN. But I felt it was the right decision for me. And I felt that I could do a lot on the other end of supporting nurses, and in that I have for the last 8 years. When I got to the association, the leadership at the association, and we talked about mentorship, really encouraged my heart. So this is part of Kuzner and Posner's book, Encouraging the Heart, a leadership guide that is, I would strongly recommend, a fantastic read. There's a number of versions now. I think they're on version 7 or 8 now of their leadership challenge books. But leaders in healthcare recognize, their team for a job well done, and express their confidence in their team and ability. And when I came on to the actual association, I started to, and I had that along the way. As I said, you have people along the way that are your cheerleaders. And I never had formal mentorship, but I had these cheerleaders along the way saying, you could do it, you could do it. And again, when I got to the association, I had this happening. I suddenly had this leadership that was saying to me, we would like to see you take on more. We believe in you. And your next step needs to be higher education. And I hadn't been in a classroom for about 25 years, a formal classroom. Certainly did all kinds of other ongoing education, but a formal classroom. And when they sat down with me, and our leadership sat down with me, she told me, and this is our CEO, Diane Martin, that good leaders create more leaders. And this is what we want to do. And so I put that trust and their faith in me. And I registered for my first university course at 47 years old. And remember, I had a learning disability that plagued me in the back of my mind. I overcompensated through my professional life in many, many ways, but it still was there. So I had to really dig deep for the professional courage it took to step back into a formal classroom. Again, I know English was my first language. I know that I have the birth lottery, but I had this other challenge that plagued me, and it worried me. Could I do it? But I went back to the grit within me. I went back to my interest. I went back to knowing if I practice, knowing that if this is my purpose, that I had hope that I could do this. And I worked hard. I worked hard every day, but I will never forget stepping into that classroom. And I love this picture on this slide because I have this picture up in my desk, up in my office in the association when I first started back at school. And I felt like this little cat. I'm telling you, I felt like this cat where I was in that classroom thinking, what am I doing here? Can I make it? So I can only imagine what all the IENs felt as I sat down with them so many years back and said, you need to go back and do this course. You need to do that course. How that must have felt. I felt it. I felt that worry. I felt that insecurity. But I was excited too. I was excited. I will tell you that. And I had the wonderful experience of having an amazing prof my first course, just incredible, who really believed in what I was doing and really helped support me in my learning and my growth. And I'll never forget that class, that final grade. I opened up, if you're doing any academic schooling, you have your school portal, you open it up, you get a little bell on the side saying there's a grade coming in. You're feeling sick to your stomach because you have to open it up and see what that grade is. Well, I was there. I opened the first bell up on that last course and it was an A, my first university course. And I got an A as a student with dyslexia and with learning challenges. And I did it. And that's all it took. One time. And I was hooked. I thought, I can do this. I could do this. I have hope. I could do this. And I had leadership behind me, cheering me along. I would sit with them many times where I thought it wasn't possible, and they would tell me it was possible. I leaned on them heavily, which I suggest you do with your case managers. Lean on your case managers heavily, because it is possible. Anything is possible. And so if I can just kind of leave you with that sentiment, that having that hope, every day is really, it's not blind optimism, and it is the belief that the efforts can improve the future. And that's really what I want my message to be for all IENs. Your efforts can change your future. It's not easy. It's hard work, but it's worth it. I went on to complete my undergrad and bachelor's of health administration with distinction at TMU. And as was mentioned in the beginning, I just completed my master's of health administration at TMU with community care focus. And as an RPN, I leveraged my title as a registered practical nurse, and I built the knowledge into my nursing practice to help continue to support nurses, to hopefully demonstrate as an example of what the possibilities are for your future. More importantly, because as any leader, my plan is to create more leaders. So, thank you. I really do admire the journey of IENs day in and day out. And I hope that my small journey is as not straight line as it was, gives you some of that hope that you need day in and day out, but you'll get there. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Norma, I bow and raise the hat to your courage and grit for sharing your hurdles, your challenges, the obstacles that you faced throughout your journey. I might not be the one who won the lottery by birth, as you said, but I didn't have the courage to speak about all the challenges that happen, and being vulnerable as a leader is a role modeling. Thank you, because you inject, I'm gonna use a nursing terminology today. So I think everyone feels the same, that we're leaving today as if we got an injection with a bolus dose of hope, perseverance, and purpose to continue doing what you're doing until we reach to our goals and to fulfill our mojos, whatever makes us, we want to be contributing in this world, in this life. And all of us are leaders in one way or another. So, and I want to mention something. I just came from the NLN in Ontario, and kudos to WeRPN, to your team, and to your leader, Diana Martin, because she actually shouted out your name. You might not be there in the room, but I have to mention to you as how RPNs are the leaders as well. It doesn't matter if you're an RN or RPN, you're a leader anywhere you are, and you can pursue your continuing education, and you can contribute to the Canadian healthcare system. So for all IENs, the skies are the limit. Your options are open. Do not limit yourself. If you get your application as an RPN, do not feel that this is setting you back. This is your opportunity. Turn those challenges into opportunities. And I don't want to keep as well mentioning this again and again. Norma Tomlin, you inspired me today, as you inspired me 14 years ago. And thank you so much for this inspirational speech and insightful journey. And all the best. You're lucky. I think your family, the people who work with you, are lucky because you spread this and your wings are there. Anybody would like to, any questions, Bessie? Anybody would like to ask Norma any question? Any comments as well? We'd like to share them.
I see very heartfelt comments. Thank you for sharing your story, Norma. I have to thank you as well. Hearing others go through the journey that we went through, the inspirational, motivational, it always brings tears to me. And I don't want to be the crybaby of the team, but it's being vulnerable and talking about, your learning difficulties and so openly, and everybody in one way or another has these challenges. And it is so inspiring, as Rola mentioned, to get this bolus injection to keep us moving. I do see Lorraine saying, thank you so much for these encouraging words, Norma. They rose the lost hope in me. Lorraine also said, this is touching and encouraging. Ruth Wachak also said similar words of encouragement. Thank you for sharing your story, Norma. Such an inspiration from Tamshila. Gwen also mentioned that this is very, very interesting, and hoping we can all meet together soon. I think among us, among all of us, the inspiration and the motivation, even though it's virtual, we're not in the same room, we felt it, and that is what motivation is about. Thank you for motivating us as case managers here at Care Center to continue doing what we're doing, leading in your way, in Ruth and Rola's way. Thank you to my colleagues here. Thank you to all the internationally educated nurses for inspiring us to continue doing what we're doing. I'll pass it to Rola and Ruth for the closing remarks before we end. I don't see any other questions. If there are questions that we haven't answered, I have put in our emails and for the pre-arrival people. So for those of you that are outside of Canada, and we're here always, and if we don't have the answer, we have the leaders to seek out the answers and find them together. Ruth, Rola, I don't know if you'd like to add anything before we close today's session.
I actually would like to hear from Ruth, the final kind of remarks for today. I had the pleasure to express a little bit of the gratitude and gratefulness. I will actually continue to look up at all the great things Norma and your team are doing, and as well at our team and the great things they're doing. Ruth, I'll leave the final words for you.
Thank you, Rola and Norma. You model the way of a true leader. A true leader saw his or her vulnerability. Leaders share that strength and the ability to share that vulnerability, so that whoever come up to you know when you're in those situations. If Norma can do it, if Bessie can do it, if Rola can do it, if Ruth can do it, maybe I can do it as well. I mean, it's those stories that encourage the heart, as you have on your screen. I'm also very admire the work that you have done, Norma, the difficulties. We sometimes just assume when someone born with that certificate that you mentioned, everything's smooth. No, we're all human. As I said, inside the shell, we're all human. So thank you so much, Norma, for sharing your journey, sharing those challenge moments, sharing the spirit of never give up, the grit. And I learned so much from you, Norma. Thank you so much. And another thing that I really take to heart is that leaders have to produce, groom the next generation of leaders. And I'm learning that from you as well. And that's why I always, if there's any leadership opportunities that come my way, I like to share it with my team, because we need to model the way, we need to groom the next generation so that we can continue. And I again like to thank my wonderful, wonderful team, all the staff at Care Center. When I celebrate Nursing Week, I know that it's all the nurses, it's our week, but also thank you for all the supporters of nurses. Without you believing in nursing, without you believing in nurses, without you believing RPNs, bring that extra strength to the job, not less, but more. The global perspective they bring to the workplace. And they just need help to transition and to learn the way. And I see that Dr. Williams, I'd like to congratulate you. Appreciate your comment. And I think that Grant Williams is another living example, and it's her success that give us that extra energy. So I have the privilege to be part of Grant's master's studies, and she recently obtained her doctorate. Congratulations, Grant. Hope that you will be in touch. And I hope that, again, someone like Grant is a role model for us all. So happy Nursing Week again, second day, and 3 more days to come. Please get in touch, because without all our clients, our friends, our colleagues, and great supporters, and Norma, who never leave the family. Sorry, I know that at Care Center, we often share the wealth, right? We have many of our staff and our members. We share the wealth. That's what it's about. Collectively, we're stronger. So we're here to hear your challenges, but we are also here to work with you to see if we can find solutions and opportunity of success. So again, thank you, Rola, and maybe I turn it back to Bessie for any last logistic or whatever comment that she may have. Thank you.
Rola, anything else from you?
I just want to continue with this week with all this kind of energy, the vibrant energy and the positive takeaways. So thank you everyone for taking the time. Thank you, Norma, again. Thank you, team.
And I'll take away what we as case managers took away, and even writing in our private case manager chat box what Norma just said earlier. Good leaders create more leaders. And being an IN myself, not only with the leaders that I've met here at Care Center, the INs, our own clients, our own colleagues, leadership in my head till one point had to do with rank, but it has to do with leaders caring for the person next to you, caring for the other person, caring for yourself, for your team. And I think that's what makes our work here at Care so special and magical, because we are all such leaders. And we've learned from the best to become the best, or at least we're trying. And this is what leadership looks like. So thank you, Norma. I think you did need to add something and I interrupted you.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the Care Center again for having me. Thank the wonderful case managers. I agree. Leadership is not the title, not all the letters behind your name, although you work very hard for them. I will contest to that. But it is about encouraging the heart, developing more leadership within others, inspiring others. That's really leadership in my view. And I see that with the Care Center, the case management there, the leadership within the Care Center. As you embark upon your nursing journey, get engaged, visit our website, reach out if you need any support or any direction as a practical nurse. or as a healthcare provider, and we'll certainly again help support you along the way. But happy Nurses Week, everybody, and enjoy the rest of this week.
Happy Nurses Week. Thank you.